Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to specifically talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and a new 1x1 configuration that I would like to set right here for you to use for your Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition game. It's my own custom idea, and it's called the Oracle Roll. All right, so let's jump right into it, and you could use this in your Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition game. And this is, and this is time tested. I tried this with Reggie, specifically Reggie, because it's a 1x1, and he liked it. We ran 3 one-shots with this. It seemed to work fine. So I'm going to set it in place for you here right now. All right. So what is a 1x1 game? So first of all, we are right now in an incredibly different time in Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons 2020, Dungeons & Dragons 2021, playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition in 2020 and playing Dungeons & Dragons in 2021 are different than any years in the history of the game, right? And the reason why is at no other point in the history of the game was there any question that there was safety in gathering around the table with 4 or 5 of your other friends and sitting right next to your buddy, right? And everything was great. Those days are gone, right? So 2020 and 2021 are special, essentially are really special years for Dungeons & Dragons. And right now, we have the opportunity to play the game in a way that we've never had the opportunity to really play the game. So 1x1 game is one Dungeon Master, 1 PC. Now, the reality is previously, this was almost never done. It was incredibly rare. The only times you would ever see this is like a lady would run a game for her boyfriend, right? Or a wife might run her game for her husband, right? Girlfriend, boyfriend, romantic partners, they would do this just because it was, it might be the easiest way for them to get it done, right? But right now, we could chuck that out the window, right? 1x1 games are incredibly attractive right now because they're much more easy to do in a safe way, right? And so there's lots and lots of ways to play Dungeons & Dragons safe in 2020, 2021. I'm not even going to bother mentioning them here because there's a million different videos out there telling you exactly how to get your D&D game on in 2020 and 2021. But I think right now, one of the things is you can propose to a friend, I want to run a 1x1 game, right? And it's not going to seem odd the way it would have at any other time. And it's gonna seem very natural and like a logical way to play Dungeons & Dragons because of the limitations that 20 and 2021 have placed on us, right? So with that's a 1x1 game, right? And here is my proposed structure for a 1x1 game, the Oracle Roll. All right, so what is the Oracle Roll? Well, the Oracle Roll is simply, it is configured from one single magical item, which is it's two magical items. It's actually a system of magical items, but they're called the Oracle Rings, right? Now, what are Oracle Rings? They're simple iron rings that are enchanted. And once the iron rings are enchanted, they allow a scry point, okay? So basically you make 2 Oracle Rings, right? And basically the one is the seeing ring and the other is the perceiving ring, right? Now the seeing ring, basically when you put that ring on a string around your neck, right, or on a brooch, right, you could just use it to secure there's 2 ways to do it. You could do it with you could take a ring and just put it on a simple string, put it around your neck, or you could take that same ring and when you close your cloak, you can use it as a tying device to tie your cloak. And since it's really just a simple iron ring, nobody will think twice about it. It doesn't look magical, right? But the seeing ring allows the person with the perceiving ring to see what is directly in front of the ring. And it doesn't matter what, doesn't matter what orientation the ring's in. It can see from either side, right? And so the perceiving ring, all you have to do is you just take a large bowl of water and the perceiving ring is enchanted so that you put the perceiving ring into a shallow bowl of water, and then in the water you can clearly see everything that the seeing ring is seeing, and within 3 feet of that bowl, you can hear everything within 50 feet of the ring, right? So whoever has the seeing ring is now giving a view of wherever they are in front of that person who's wearing the seeing ring, and also allowing the person to see and to hear everything that they're seeing. Now, this right here, this very simple magical system, right, is enough to allow there to be an entire campaign made around this. And so that allows one player character, no matter what their class is, to become an oracle, right? Essentially, an oracle is someone who essentially just takes this ring, gives the perceiving ring to another person who is paying them, and then they go and they perceive what the payer wanted them to perceive, right? Now this is dramatically different than most Dungeons and Dragons games, because an adventure, usually you go into a dungeon and you get the treasure, right? This, you might for a prince or for a duchess, you might be a player character could be employed simply to go to the deepest levels of the dungeon and bring out nothing, right? To see if this dungeon is even worth delving, right? And so nobles, merchants, wizards, right? Anybody with serious coin can absolutely then pay an oracle to go and simply witness what is at a specific place, right? Now, what are the benefits of an oracle game? There's a lot of really cool benefits for this, and one of the reasons why is it changes the structure of what a Dungeons and Dragons adventure is doing. Traditionally, they're going and they're slaying, right? This is to go and witness. Very, very different, right? Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret, right? An oracle game at any time has the distinct possibility for what's called a bounce out, right? What's a bounce out? Well, a bounce out is that the player, right, and you as the dungeon master can always kind of be teasing this, right, where the player is put into this situation where they're paid to go witness an event, witness a location, right, witness a person, witness a creature, right, witness a magical item, so that the person who is at a long distance, right, they then will have the knowledge they need to make a decision on whether they want to journey there or not, right? And this could be very lucrative, right? But the reality is, once you get that player character into that position, right, then you have something really, really interesting. Now, what is that? Well, you can have that player can then become a traditional adventurer, right? And saying, hey, I'm not going to witness this. I'm seeing something that alarms me. I'm seeing something that makes me very interested. I'm seeing something that's really, really engaging for me. And they may turn into a traditional adventurer. They may try to stop an evil that's occurring. They may try to slay a creature that they think needs to be slain. They may try to get something that they think needs to be gotten. Right? All those things are very traditional things that can happen that they can bounce out of that oracle role and say, I'm going to get involved here. I was paid to just come here and witness this, but now I'm going to, I'm actually going to get engaged. So that can happen at any time. And I think that's cool too, because that can trigger kind of a different direction for a campaign. But the option should be up to the player, right? They should be able to choose to get more engaged if they want to or not. But I think this is a really engaging way to do a 1x1 game, and to really give a nice option for doing something new and unique within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So this is my idea for a 1x1 game. It's called the Oracle Roll. One thing I did want to button up is, so once that's done, so one, all you have to do in order to shut off the perceiver ring, right, is one, that you actually can't really shut off the perceiver ring at all. It's always seeing, right? But it lasts only 1, 2, or 3 moons, depending on how the perceiver ring is enchanted. And that's it. Once it's done, it's done. And right now, there's currently no magic that will allow a perceiver ring to receive the signal for more than 3 months. After that point, a new receiver ring needs to be created, and then that can be sold to a new patron, right? And so, also, just to be clear, from your NPCs that you're going to need is you're going to need an agent, somebody who sells the perceiver rings to high-end customers, and also you're going to need a wizard to continue to create the perceiver rings, right? And also that does mean, and there's essentially a template that actually any wizard of 7th level or better should be able to create a perceiver ring from, as long as they are holding the seeing ring, right? It shouldn't be too difficult for them. They should be able to do that. And they can even put additional enchantments on it. So that's my structure for a 1x1 game. What do you think? Do you think you would like to use this, or do you think this would be a sound structure for a 1x1 game? Are you taking advantage of this incredibly unique opportunity, 2020 and 2021, to do small 1x1, 1x2 games in Dungeons & Dragons? Because I'm telling you right now, there's never been a better time for these more small-scale games. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.